great is that I think he understood that quiet success speaks much louder than the type of success Jay-Z has, where Jay-Z's success is just always winning, whatever, boom, boom.
I was gonna be like,
where Master P is like, when you hear about the deals he makes similar numbers to Jay-Z. It's just you don't hear about them.
Yeah.
And then when you get them all back to back, like, oh, he did this. He was an NBA player. Oh, he actually was a award-winning rapper. He did all this stuff. When you hear his accomplishments put together, it blows your mind.
Yeah, but then, like I said, Jay-Z... Is Jay-Z... No. Yeah, I was going to say he's a bad example, but he's also a good example because he did both. He was quiet and loud about it. Like, a lot of his situations were quietly moving, but the success was loud, but then he also rapped about it loudly, so therefore, like, it's both arenas.
Again, and plus, like so that's why I said, like, hip-hop doesn't really allow people to have a second chapter, because everybody acting like once the Master P stopped rapping, he stopped being Percy Miller. Because that's the problem. Jay-Z kept rapping all these years, and we thinking, because it's in our face, he's automatically successful.
Do you think Drake is going to be the same way then?
In what way?
Because Drake is having, like, mountains and mountains of success, too.
Musically.
No, deal-wise, too.
Not knowing their level Jay-Z. Bro. Not even close.
Yeah, no. I was thinking about it, but no. Because a lot of things that he does, it's Jay-Z's already done. So it's like he's mirrored it. Which is hard.
Well, it's not to mirror. It's not. Because everything Jay-Z's done, 50 Cent's done too. But 50 Cent, he's done it in his own way.
Wait, Jay-Z has done like shows? Oh, wait, yes, he did. I forgot.
Jay-Z, for lack of a better term, Jay-Z is the blueprint for what a hip-hop, a rap artist turned businessman should be, because he was so good at diversifying into so many different things.
Well, it's interesting that you said that. I just saw a video recently with one of Jay-Z's affiliates who was saying that was always Jay's plan ever since, even before the blueprint, since Reasonable Doubt. He wanted to went from being a rapper to being seen as a business mogul, as an icon, as a legit businessman, and look at where he's at now. Well, billionaire, got his hair all out, fuck about thing, married to Beyonce.
Look at the iconography he has around him. Who did he build himself after? Rockefeller. All these guys he kept, all these great white guys, rich white guys he named himself after. That's how he modeled himself after. That's why a 50 Cent,
the Rockefeller was a white man.
50 Cent, a guy like 50 Cent, Jay-Z, Master P, they were going to be successful no matter what they did. Rap just happened to be their vehicle. Because you see the work ethic behind it. Because a lot of these guys don't get these deals to say it just to make it look good, and then don't build on it just to say, oh, I did this with Apple, I did this with Google, whatever. Whereas, like, 50 Cent, he got a vitamin deal like, 2006 or something like that?
Sold it for $2 and then Coca-Cola came for billions.
Exactly. He made all that, and he put vitamin water on the map more than it ever was, it ever will be again.
I can't remember the last time I even seen no vitamin water about him.
Even though they ain't been together for years, you still associate vitamin water with 50 Cent.
Like that, I think about it. Yeah.
Well, look at what he's done with Power and Stars. This is what I mean. To me, that's a real success. Because that right there was Stars. Power will serve him longer than any music he makes ever will.
Yeah, no, you can definitely say that, especially where he's going, where he's taking it. And he's technically put Stars kind of back on the map, because what other shows were you associating with Stars before Power really blew up like that? Like Black Sails, I think?
That was my shit.
Black Sails was fire.
I can't even think of a single.
Yeah, exactly. See,
I feel like there's some Stars you just don't know it's on Stars.
Right.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
I feel like that's on Stars.
I was like, that's on Stars. I thought that was HBO.
I thought that was Showtime.
Because honestly, HBO, Showtime, Stars, they all the same thing basically.
Right. Basically.
But you know what's crazy though? 50 Cent might have done something that most people never get to. What? 50 Cent has mastered being uncancelable.
Why? By simply just not giving a fuck about what's going on?
No, I'm saying, think about it. Like you said, the two parts of it is the social media aspect, where people just don't give a fuck about you, and affecting your business on the other side, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens when people know on social media, more people often than not know who you are and what you bring to the table, and that's been consistent for the last 15 years? Because we know 50 Cent, you might not have never heard this nigga rap, but you know exactly how 50 Cent is, how he moves, what he does. When you get somebody like that, where people know who he is and accept it for who he is, and then, because that way he'll survive the people who are just mad for the moment. So that right there cancels out that part. And on the business side, I don't give a damn how many times he pisses people off. Niggas is not going to stop watching Power.
I think it's the reason why he hasn't been canceled. I mean, I can't name everything that 50's done, but the reason why he hasn't been canceled, it depends on who
is mad.
Who is mad and who you're hurting, who is mad at you, who you're hurting in the actions that you're doing. And
that's very true. That's
depending on the people, it goes on as long as it can, depending on who it's being done to.
Yeah.
And you could use the example with R. Kelly. It went on for so long because it's black girls, it's black women.
Yeah. That's a very good point. It would be the same if he was doing it to women of other races. Nah, that shit probably would have got shut down like real fast.
I would say
sad truth too.
Well, then again, I think it would be a better test for him, honestly, because I still think he would do him regardless. But it'd be a test on how are you really going to hold that line when it's other people coming for you. Because Nick Cannon was real pro-black. He was real for the culture, all that shit, until he ran up against some Jews, and then he got real quiet real fast. It's easy to be that way until you really get that test.
Oh wow, yeah, actually, you're right. I forgot about that. The whole, you're referring to the America's Got Talent situation, right?
What was that?
Was it America's Got Talent situation when he lost his job because he went up against?
I think on
He
a
quit
podcast.
Yeah,
or
he was
something,
talking about like how black people were the original.
comments.
Yeah, and then
He was going online where black people were the original.
and then he got fired from
Israelites,
America's
whatever.
Got Talent or something like that.
He was still on America's Got Talent at that point. I thought.
No, bro. That was after.
Oh, okay. I'm
affected
mixing it up.
His deal with Wild 'N Out and
Viacom.
Oh,
Because that's what got Wild 'N Out shut off, and that's why they run it up with that bullshit budget.
Oh, is that what happened? I haven't watched Wild 'N Out in like mad long.
You can tell they fuck with that shit.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, man.
I have not seen it. I don't ever
long.
watch Wild 'N Out, but I've seen enough clips on Instagram to be like, damn, they really lowered the budget because fuck.
It'd be like that. But you know it's important to go back to this thing. You said something earlier about Jay-Z building a strong team, right? Do you think, do you think that's important? Having a team? What about you? You think that's important? Having a strong team and foundation?
Yeah, I would say you're only as good as the foundation that you have. So there's only so much you can do as one.
Mm-hmm.
And so it becomes something, with anything in life, with a foundation, with a family, there's different aspects because there's different things that support that. So doing it by yourself, you can, but you can only reach so much.
I think it depends on what you're going for as well. Because obviously no man's an island unto himself, but what's your goal? What are you building that team for? Because there's some things that you might just need to do better yourself because nobody can know your vision better than you. So instead of having a team, you might just need to put people in a position to pay them to do what they need to do, a service for you. Like, to me, when I say a team is supposed to move like an organism. Like, if I have a team, I have you set up to handle my PR stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I go to vacation in Cabo St. Lucas and get caught on camera fucking a fat titty bitch and shit, just wild shit, doing coke on whatever on the beach, I would need if you're
that's a wild vacay.
But celebrities, right?
Yeah,
keep it in celebrity realm. All right, I would if you were my team, you would be on that without me having to make a phone call.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Because my team will be working around the clock regardless. That's what I mean when I say I need a team like that. That's what the team should be.
The fat titty bitch and sitting there and doing coke. You need shit like Olivia Pope to get out of that.
Olivia will already be on it. I wouldn't have to call Olivia.
Oh, because of your PR. All right, fine.
Because the team is already set up.
All right.
That's
at least your team knows that you're doing crazy shit like that. Though.
Again, that's the problem. But people always need a team once they fuck up. They don't ever take the time to set that team up beforehand.
Okay, I'll give you that because there's probably a lot of celebrities out here, since we're keeping in celebrity thing, that probably have done shit like that, and we probably have never heard about it because they had their team already on it.
If my team would be like my money guy, my accounts, how everything I want set up, my will, all that stuff set up ahead of time, so there's no question about stuff. So stuff like that, that might be a team member I never see for another 10 years. But he's always in a position where I need him to be. Like, that's what I mean. Like, when you're building a team, like, do you think Jay-Z talks to everybody on his team? No.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. I think you have niggas that are there for a certain job, and you get talked to when you need to get talked to. Otherwise, stay in your position and do your job.
Well, I sit there and say yes, he does, because that's the video that I was referencing earlier. The guy was saying like that's part of what he thinks attribute to Jay-Z's success. He said he keeps his team, like it's only like literally 4 or 5 people, like the people that he messes on top, Tata, Emery, like people like that.
I don't know who the fuck you just talked about.
The people, people that are on Jay-Z's team, he raps about them and everything. Like Tata is his nephew that he talks about.
All right, so and then here's my thing:
Mm-hmm.
is your team people you trust or people you trust to do their job?
I would say both.
I think you would hope for both, but I just, like I said, depending on what you're going for, I think it would need to be one or the other.
I mean, if I'm paying you, you better be doing your job, right? Or else you won't have no job no more.
I know, but like, how is it this? Like, it's like
you'll be fired.
It's like LeBron. Instead of like going to get an agent, he brought his homie up, Rich Paul, with him because he trusted him enough to have his back.
And Rich Paul's the thing, right? And Rich Paul understood the assignment. How many people do you sit there and help and hope that they understand the assignment, but they don't understand the assignment, or they don't care to, so they don't do it?
That's what I mean when I say like Rich Paul's the best of both worlds of somebody you trust and somebody you trust to do their job.
But then again,
so you see Rich Paul as being rather someone you trust to do their job, as in something that he was inclined for. This was what he was good at, and that's why LeBron picked him. You see it as that's LeBron's right-hand man, and he knew that he would do anything to make sure that the ship didn't fail, and that's why he got that role.
I think it's honestly because I think knowing the history, I think LeBron like paid for him to go to school and all that stuff, so like to be equipped to do what he needs to do. But that's what I mean, like putting your people in position to work for you and work for them. Because at the same time as LeBron set himself up to be great in NBA, he just at the same time while I'm doing that, I'm setting my man to be great in life, regardless outside of me or with me. Because as much as he's so tied to LeBron, he's built a name for himself, and he's built basically generational wealth for himself, his family. So that's what I mean. Like, if I'm bringing somebody with me, that means they have to give something to me, and I can bring it back. It's an equivalent exchange type thing. Because how many people on these teams, entourages that are just there to be there? The same people who are just there to be there when the rappers are grabbing a gun to shoot up a club, and then like when he going to jail, niggas is like, what the fuck I'm going to do with my life now?
Casanova is a perfect example of this.
That's what I mean when you have niggas around you. Like, that's what I mean. That's not the team. That's just an entourage. Yeah,
that means that both of them, from the beginning, before it got to that point, they understood the assignment and what needed to be done. And, they saw, if I'm a prospect, I'm doing all this, we got to make sure everything that I earn goes to the right place and all that. And so from early on, before he was even in, before all the schools were after him and all that types of stuff, they knew it's like, we need to make sure everything here is tight, and that's going to make all the difference all the way at the end.
Honestly, that's crazy because I don't think he met Rich Paul till later, like he was already starting to be LeBron, but he said like, he's like, because Rich Paul was always in the hood selling stuff, making money, being a hustler, right? He's like, I've seen that in you. So like stuff like that, like
I can relate.
If I have a friend, like let's say we both let's say it's a typical ghetto rapper story, right? We both selling drugs in the hood, right? My number 2 would be good with me trapping in the block to help me stand good in a business meeting. That's how a number 2 should be for me. Like, if you're part of my team, like I could put you here and you'll still do good with me. I could put you here and you'll still do good with me. That's what I mean what a solid team is.
Gotcha.
Like if we was on the block in the trap house or we was in a boardroom together. So like that's why when I say, because all right, make it personal for us.
J.O.D.
Isaiah has a really big heart and he wants to take everybody with him.
All right.
And I gotta be
the
resident dickhead and say fuck everybody now. No, I'm sorry. Because if everybody wanted to be here, everybody would be here. You get what I'm saying?
All right, so in my defense, what that is practically what you sat there and said with LeBron earlier, how he saw Rich Paul, right? Is his name? How he saw Rich Paul and said like, yo, I see what's in you, and even though I have a platform distributed for myself, I want to be able to use those resources that I've gathered from there to help you get on your way because I see that your thing is there. Luckily for him, it worked out, right? We could safely say that it worked out, right? that's the same way that I think with the thing. So it's not particularly, I'm not trying to save anybody, bro. I can't make people want to be a part of this thing. I can't make people work thing. I help you out because I see that you're good at what you do. So I want to think, regardless, right? I'm going to be good regardless because I already have like the platform and everything to make it. That's what J.O.D is. It's nothing more than a platform to help people think. Because my dream, like I said, I remember when this hat right here was like nothing. You know what I mean? People didn't think it would be anything and everything. And now, shout out to the podcast, by the way, that we're on. We just broke into Brazil and Mexico. So welcome to the dynasty, first and foremost. Also, shout out to Anchor, and shout out to Spotify, and shout out to Amazon Backstage.
You lost
You
me
guys
second.
are
He said,
awesome.
well, shout out to the podcast. I'm like, ain't we on the podcast?
Yeah, I was getting to that. Relax.
You lost me like 5 seconds.
I was getting to that. I had to make sure I had all the points there. All the points there. But that's what I'm saying. Like, so let's say like you do photography. I want to sit there and I see that you're good. I see your portfolio. I like your portfolio. I sit there and say, yo, we have merch. We have a thing. Would you like to shoot this event for us? Let's say we do a whole, what is that thing called when they do, like a galleria. Let's say we do a galleria with all your pictures up there. And then somebody like, do you know, anybody here know who Annie Leibovitz is?
Heard the name.
Yeah.
Famous photographer. One of the most famous photographers in the world is a woman. She's done a lot of the Rolling Stone shit, right? Front cover Rolling Stone, all that shit. Let's say she sees your work.
I don't know that I can name a single famous photographer.
Well, I took photography 101, so I know some back in college.
I got you artists, but not photographers.
So, but basically, I took photography 101 in college, so that's how I know like all these famous photographers and shit. So like, she sees your work and she says, "Yo, this is awesome." Da 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 da. Who's the people that helped you get started? All I ask is that you sit there and say like, "Oh, it's J.O.D. Da 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 da. This guy helped me get there." That's the thing. And if you say like, come to me and say like, "Oh, Annie Leibovitz wants to work with me and everything like that. Thank you for the opportunity and everything like that," I would just be like, "Cool, that's fine," because we still have the platform there. I just want you to sit there and hopefully mention J.O.D. in there, and then we can sit there and grow. It's like an even exchange. And it's all because I sat there and saw you and took you from being a person who just, because anybody can take a camera and go like this, but now you're not just a person with a camera. You have an established brand. You have a name, all because of this. That's basically what it is. So I want to help people because, like, let's be honest, I don't have to do this shit. Like, I don't. Like, I got my degrees. I got my thing. I have my career. But I also like doing this on the side. I also like making this thing. It makes me so happy to see people like Royal having their own platform, having their thing from when I first met them and everything like that. Like, it makes me so brand. Because Royal's technically a part of this. This is Royal's hat. I gave Royal this hat. How long ago was that?
Been 3
Like,
years.
3 years. And 2-3 years. And look at what he's done since then. That's like
Okay, so
wonderful.
you know how you and me have never been in disagreement about how we do with the people around us, right?
Yes, very true.
Okay, but you know the difference between you and about 98% of people in that group chat?
All right.
What are you doing right now, right?
Yeah.
This is coming back and showing love, right?
Right.
This is
Essentially.
helping you're helping build us up right now. We're
Right,
doing what
right.
we can to build you up right now, right?
Mm.
To me, that's an equivalent exchange.
Right.
Gotcha.
What you just sounded like was letting somebody use you in your name and just, give me a shout out when you on the stage for an award.
Nah,
And
exactly.
I'm not saying that's
Right.
how it is. I'm saying we're not dealing with, everybody doesn't deal with the same people, same caliber of people.
Well, that's
Because how you and me would do and how a lot of people we know would do doesn't mean how everybody would do.
this is true. But then you can't there's a term that we have in the psych field that's called meeting like the client where they're at. I sit there and I put that and adjust that to like my real life. It's meeting people where they're at. If you're not going to sit there and take the opportunity seriously and everything like that, that's on you. That's on you.
Okay, all right,
it's on you.
There's
It's not
something
on
we
me.
have in the real nigga field. It's called
Go ahead.
it's called meet me halfway.
Yes, no, it's meet me halfway.
Okay.
But
So
if you don't
if
meet
the
me
energy
halfway,
is not being reciprocated, the energy will not be given.
but if the energy is not given, it doesn't have to particularly be given or meeting halfway either. If you sit there and choose to meet me halfway, right, then good on you. If you don't sit there and meet me halfway, then I could just take the opportunity and go somewhere else. It doesn't matter because the opportunity will be there regardless. Because there's always going to be somebody willing to be on that side. It just doesn't have to be
Okay,
you.
so we're talking about building a team, right? and I put how to destroy your team.
Or destroy your team. It's like it's both.
What would all right, let's say somebody on your team, what would that person have to do to get moved off the team? What would somebody have to be that's that detracted from your team to get moved off? What would that look like for you?
What would that look like for me?
What would be the thing? What would be the things or the qualities or lack thereof that would make you remove somebody off your team?
Them not doing anything or not being for it, or just being totally against any type of success that comes towards the team and everything like that. Like, for instance, that's why if they're hindering the
Don't
progress.
That sound like a couple niggas in that group chat,
right? But see, that's why there's a yeah. Listen to Mr. Throwing shade over here. But that's the difference between the group chat and the committee. That's why there's a group chat for the whatever goes on in that group chat. And then there's the committee. That's why, which you're on. Which
the same niggas in that committee too.
No, they're not. No, they're not. There's only like maybe one person that you're thinking of.
That's one
person. And they don't answer.
Bro, if we're on a desert island,
right,
and it's 5 of us need to survive, one person not being on code with
that person's just gonna wither and die then.
Okay, sometimes I'm saying sometimes on the shit we have. Because we're human beings, right?
Right.
Like this whole man's brand is to be determined, right? Life is not guaranteed, right?
Great name, by the way.
Do you have any time to play with somebody like that? Do you have, if we're on a ship, right, and it's 5 of us, do we have time to be sitting there stuck with somebody who we know has smallpox?
No, we're just gonna throw him overboard.
That can literally throw the team. All right, I'm not saying
overboard.
Weird example, but again, do you have time to have somebody who's detracting for what you're trying to do if they're supposed to be part of the team?
No, but then you can also sit there and either get rid of that person, or you can focus on the people that are here and here to work. And that's what we do. We focus on the people that are here to work, like you. So, and you have more power in said organization. I would sit there and listen to your thing way before I listen to that other person who hasn't been here, who hasn't been listening, who hasn't been doing that. Right? So even though you have a spot on the committee, if you're not doing anything for the committee, your spot can still be there. But just know that like anything that you sit there and suggest is gonna go one ear out the other versus somebody who's been sitting here like, yo, I have an idea, I want to put this in action, let's do that. Because how many people, like being, like, here's the thing about being like the CEO, the boss, the president, and everything like that. It's a thankless job. You're not going to, like, it's a thankless job. Don't expect people to sit there.
Obama after them first 4 years in office?
Exactly. Don't sit there and expect people to be, to thank you. Don't expect people to sit there and see the vision that you see it. The main thing is to focus on what we can do to sit there to move from here to here. You're going to have a lot of naysayers. You're going to have a lot of detractors. You're going to have a lot of things. But listen, that doesn't mean that you can't get here. You can still get here, just as long as you sit there and focus on what you need to do to get here, to get there. There we go. You get what I mean? It's a thankless job, and it's something that, like I signed up for. Like I said, we just broke into Brazil and Mexico. How many times did people say when we first started this thing that this shit wouldn't even remotely go out of New Jersey? Tons.
Oh, I thought it was rhetorical.
Oh, I'm saying it. I'm saying
he was asking name all the traders.
I thought he was like,
nah.
Okay, so that's what I mean. I thought he was gonna like follow with a point.
Nah. But like, so with, like I said, with this platform, man, it's, for me, it's different. Like I said, for me, it's different. It's different. Like, just the fact that like I gave Rory this hat 3 years ago. The fact that he still kept the hat means the world to me. It means that we're doing something. It means like it's something that people either can see or they can believe in. When I go on the street and I wear this hat and I get a question, and I know this is happening to you because I've seen it, people ask, what does it mean? We sit there and explain it. Not one person have I ever met has sat there and said, no, that shit is whack. I don't like that.
Except the niggas in our own group, but
I mean,